All right, boys and girls, people, I got a new lens. There's my old lens. You notice there's no booger on there anymore, so it took me an extra day or two to get the lens because I ordered the wrong one. If you remember, I said it was $67 and they're normally like $130. It's because it was the wrong lens and it didn't have a zoom feature. So this one has a zoom of 16 millimeters to 50 millimeters, and the other one was just a fixed 35 millimeter lens. So it was like really far zoomed in. So instead of being here, it was right there all the time, so I couldn't zoom out. So that's what we got now, and I'll show you guys the boogers if you can see. Right there, and right there, and right there. There's probably more of that one. I got an arc on it when I was welding. So I think I got a little bit too close when I was doing some welding and MIG welding, and it jumped on the lens. So now I have a welding lens, I guess. That'll be good because the lens still works. It just has that booger on it. So I'll be able to use this one when I'm welding. And speaking of welding, today what I want to do is I want to take some pipe. And I got some new tools and I'm going to try them out. I bought a bead roller, so I'm going to test the bead roller. And I want to cut with a wood saw. I want to try that, and I want to weld some bungs on. So I think what my plan is with these things is I want to take some sections of pipe and I want to add some intake air temperature sensor bungs to them, because when I was doing the initial Escalade build, I didn't want to modify the intake and take the evap purge solenoid out. So what I did was I just made a little section and I put an intake air temperature sensor bung in there. And then I didn't have to remove my evap purge solenoid. So I think in some situations, and it probably happens more often than I think, people just want to buy a section of pipe to clamp in there, or they don't have a place to put a sensor. Like before I had a TIG welder, I didn't have access really to anybody that I knew that could TIG weld or do aluminum. So like my blow-off valve that I did the first time when I bought a blow-off valve, I ended up buying one that just like clamps in. So that's kind of what I want to build, is some clamp in intake air temperature sensor bung pipes and post them on eBay to see if they sell or if there's any interest in them. And it'll give me a little more practice welding. And that's not going to work. I thought that saw was a little bit bigger. So I will do it with a bandsaw, and then I think what I'll do maybe tomorrow is go buy like a bigger, maybe like a 10-inch. What size is that? That's 7 1/4. Maybe I'll go buy like a 10-inch or a bigger one so I can actually start using a saw like this to cut. My bandsaw works pretty well, but it's kind of wobbly, so my cuts aren't completely straight. So we'll get this guy out of here, I guess. And then I like these outlets. Just an update on how these outlets work. I added those things the other day, if you guys didn't see that. And they actually work pretty cool, because then I can just plug stuff in right in the area that I'm working, and I don't have to run an extension cord. Now what I want to do is measure out 6 inches. I think I want to make a couple that are 6 inches. So I'll just mark it right there. And they'll get started. And I'm keeping all the bubble wrap and everything on. I don't want anything to get scratched. So that's kind of the thought. So the downside to using this bandsaw is the cuts are a little bit wobbly. It's hard to get them like completely even. Like this one's a little bit crooked. So what I'll try to do then is use the belt sander to straighten it out. So that's why I want to get that little chop saw, and then I can cut them straight. Alright, so this tool is a bead roller. I got this thing on Amazon or eBay, one of the two, and it basically just clamps into a vise. I think I want to figure out a different way to mount it. I'll show you what the issue is with it, but it works pretty good. It just kind of sucks to mount it. Okay, so here's what this bead roller looks like. It just clamps into a vise. I think what I might actually do with it is weld a piece on so it's either up higher or out at an angle or something like this. The issue that I see with it is that the hand crank that it has this handle on it. It either hits like it's too long, so if you mount it all the way over here where you can crank the handle, the pipe is too big. Let me see if I can get it to mount up high enough. I'll probably make myself look dumb right now. Yeah, so that actually does work like that. You just got to get it up high enough, and it's like barely in the vise at all. So that might actually work. I might have just lied to you guys. So what I'm going to do now is put this thing in here, clamp it all the way down, until I see a little bit of a dimple in it. You can see it's starting to make the little mountain. So I'm just going to crank this thing all the way around, but I'm going to try to make sure that this end is in the same spot so the thing's not wavy. This will help me a little bit too if I can get a completely straight cut on it. That bandsaw is a little bit wavy. I'm able to get most of the waviness out of it, but not all of it. So yeah, we got a nice little bead all the way around. So compared to this one, it's not as prominent, so I can go around it again, make it a little bit deeper. Probably help if my vise was bolted down all the way, but we're not worried about that right now. There. So that one actually looks pretty good. Not too bad. There's the factory bend. There's the one I just made. So that actually looks pretty good. So I have two different types of bungs that I bought. One is Jet Products. So I have this style. These are actually a little bit nicer. They have a nice polished finish. And they have the little recessed section so you can kind of flush mount it. It sucks though having it flush mounted in a round pipe. You have the flat spot, so when you weld it you end up having a tight spot, and then you have a loose spot. So that does kind of suck that way. And then I also got a bunch that look just like this. You can tell they're just machined, they're not polished, but these are really thick. So what I think I might do is cut these in half, and then I can use the roller on the belt sander to kind of make a little round section to sit right around the pipe. So that's what I might do on a different day. I think I'll actually use this one today. So what I'll do is I'll measure the inside of here and see how big of a hole I need to make in it. So it's going to be about a 7/8. 7/8 should be good to get that thing in there. 0.875 is 7/8. So it should be good if I drill it to 7/8. So let's go do that. There you go. Now it's in there, but now you can see what I'm saying with the little tiny gap there where it's tight here, but then you end up having a little gap there, which isn't a huge deal. Still welds okay, but let's weld it. Okay, so now I'm going to take some acetone and I'm just going to clean the rods that I'm going to use. Not that one. That was a stainless rod. So I'll put that guy away. I'm going to clean the rod. This is 4043, I believe. Yep, so this is 16th inch 4043. You can see how dirty just the rod is. So I'm not gonna do any like scratching or anything. I'm just going to just clean it with acetone, and then I'm gonna use the arc to clean. So I've been trying to do that lately, especially on this stuff, because I don't want to scratch it with a wire brush to try to keep it looking nice. If you scratch it with a brush, then you get scratch marks all over it. So I've been trying to let the welder do the cleaning and not have to scuff it so much. So let's see how this works. And you like my coat rack? I hung a coat hook the other day so I can hang my jacket and stuff on there. Pretty nice. This will be my first time testing my new grinding station, so I can be sitting at the table and grind. Right. So let that cool off and we can look at it. That wasn't too bad for not scraping it or anything. I think I need to work on getting a little bit. I just need to work on getting a little bit better method for rotating the piece so I can sit comfortably. That's like my biggest issue when I do this round stuff, is I move my body around a lot when it'd be nicer to just move the piece around. Should get like a rotating table or something. That'd be sweet. All right, so here it is, all finished up. So that's the side I bead rolled. That's the side that came on the pipe. And there's the weld. I did clean up all the junk from touching it. Doesn't look too bad. One thing I don't really like too much, I guess, is the cleaning spots. Got a little bit big, so it's not completely uniform all the way around, but that's not really a huge deal. So other than that, I think it turned out pretty good. Pretty happy with it. I'll probably post this thing on eBay, see if anybody buys it. I might sell it with the clamp too, or like with 2 couplers and clamps. I don't know yet, but we'll see. So just kind of kicking some ideas around, practicing on this thing.